I love that story. Do you bring that forward to your son's life and anybody else that you spend time
Absolutely.
with and impact?
Absolutely. As any of my friends, they were like, yeah, that's Paris. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My 3-year-old, and she didn't get it from me or my wife, but my 3-year-old recently was kept saying try, like I'm trying to do this, I'm trying, and I'm like, where is that coming from, right? Because like trying in my book is a failing word,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to really lean in and figure out, okay, like where actually is it being derived from? And it was on like a show, like a kids
Mm-hmm.
TV show, and they're like, well, I'm going to try to do this and try to do. It's like we got to cut that out. Like I don't want that programming,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Have you watched, when you were younger, you watched cartoons, right? Watch those same ones today. You're like, oh my goodness, that time and shit. Like, cartoons are not for kids.
Welcome to the Impact Effect podcast. My name is Jim Morris. I'm your host, and I'm fired up because we got Dr. Paris Love in the house, and we're going to get into it today. So please help me welcome Dr. Paris Love to the Impact Effect.
Thank you, Jim. Happy to be here.
Let's go. It's going to be a good
I
conversation
know,
today. I
right?
can feel the energy. It's going to be a vibe.
Yeah.
Um, like every episode, I always ask the guest, what is the most impactful moment in your life that changed everything for the future?
Oh, that's a really good question. So, I'm going to do something personal. So, I have a son that has Tourette's syndrome, OCD, ODD, and ADHD. And I was a single parent. And, we've had that incident with Tourette's recently. And yes, he does swear. Only 11% of individuals with Tourette's swear. He just happens to be the 11%. And he was diagnosed at 9. And, children go out to play. They can go to daycare centers. They can go to school. Well, I was told, he can't come here because he swears. Oh, he can't fly because he swears. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. And we would go to a store. And, as soon as you walk in, the words come out. And then sometimes people
Any
go,
good any good swears? Like
hey,
any
the normal F word, the B word, um, and I think because they usually only have 3, and then shit was the other one, but it comes out like when everything's quiet, then it comes out. Oh my goodness, yeah. But I have a sense of humor with it because I couldn't be the parent like, oh my God, like we can't go anywhere, we're sheltered. So like we go out, we do what we gotta do. People stare. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Because he has Tourette's. What do you have? But the impactful moment when you're a single parent and you're going through that, a lot of times people don't understand it. It's, oh, bless your heart. He'll grow out of it. I'm like, it's a genetic neurological disorder. It's not gonna grow out of it. So I used to write on a piece of paper. I'm very goal oriented. And I would write, I want him to be a successful member of society. Just write it down, write it down, write it down. My son, and I probably talk like he's a little kid. He's actually 35 now, and he's a parent of 4. He's actually a single dad, and he is amazing as a single dad, as a parent. And then, he works as well. So I was like, oh, look at that. It all came to fruition. So,
That
yeah.
is what an empowering story. It must have been hard in that moment growing up and going through those different phases. How'd you navigate through some of that stuff?
Humor. And I really had to have humor because when you're going through something, it's like I'm the only one. Nobody else has this issue. And in the Black community, I didn't know anyone with Tourette's. A lot of times, Uncle Joey, that's what he does. Nobody worry about it. Uncle Joey probably had Tourette's. So I had to do a lot of research on Tourette's, and still, no one looked like me that had Tourette's. And so I have this child who thinks God doesn't like me. I'm really different. And having to have a sense of humor with it because one of his words was the B word. And I would tell his teachers, this is what he says. This is how it comes out. Because if he just says like that, that's him. Like this is how it comes out. So one day his teacher called. He called me to be. I said, well, maybe you are one. Like I told you that was one of his words. Why are you calling me? Like seriously? I was like, do you know how many bees I get called in a day? Well, please, lady. Like seriously. So I had to have a really sense of humor with it. And my friends, she was like, "You're joking." I'm like, "No, I'm not joking," because I have a sense of humor with it. And then they go, "I think I might have it too," because I swear, I was like, you know what? I cannot with y'all.
That doesn't really help the situation when they make light of it, but with your humor, I'm sure that you're building those
Mm-hmm.
relationships, and
Yeah.
it's not, tanking your spirit or tanking, your
Mm-mm.
emotions
Mm-mm.
down underground where they,
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
doesn't serve anybody,
It
right?
doesn't. Yeah. But I used to, and sometimes I didn't know. So they have ticks, involuntary movements. So at 9, he had 3 ticks. I stopped counting at 16. And he used to have this one tick. I promise you, it took me like 5 years or more to figure this out. He'd go, "Mom, Mom, 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 can you stop calling me? Mom, Mom." You know what? She gone. She gone. I don't know where she left. And I realized that was one of his ticks. Just go, "Mom, Mom." I'm like, "Stop calling me." Um,
How
it's a very fascinating disorder.
how happy were you when he started having children and building a family, and like tell me a little bit about
So
those impactful
here's the
moments.
interesting thing. It's only 2 times that they don't tick: when they sleep and when they have sex. I got 4 kids.
Really?
I'm serious. Yeah.
So with all that, you're seeing that throughout the day, you're experiencing those ticks, and then obviously sleeping, you could go to sleep. You weren't worried, there wasn't screaming, there wasn't any of that
Mm-mm.
that thing
Mm-mm.
happening
Mm-mm.
where it was that neurological moment where it was uncontrolled.
Right, right.
Gotcha.
And some of them do have that. And I was on the board for Tourette's, and because I lived in Atlanta at the time, because that was my safe haven. I'm around adults and kids who have it. And a lot of times kids are misdiagnosed. Mozart had Tourette's. A lot of your sports players have Tourette's.
Wow.
Exactly. Where was I going? I forgot.
So with
I
those
forgot. I
other
don't know.
folks like celebrities or musicians or all that, you think most of those people were just not diagnosed or maybe
Oh,
just
absolutely.
not.
Absolutely. Because again, it's a genetic neurological disorder. A lot of times we have family members like, that's just what they do. Like, get used to it. And then you take your child to the doctor, they don't tick. So the doctor goes, "Oh, you're a bad parent." Well, no, I'm not a bad parent. Because the child they don't tick. As soon as they walk out the doctor's office, like they're ticking. They try to control it. We have doctors who have it, but when they're in surgery, precise. As soon as they get out, it's just all over the place. Yeah, it's pretty
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, so this is really one, it's encouraging to hear the journey of your son and how he's now building a family and he's got kids and all that, but also just to understand that it's probably way more real than we may see because it's probably people that just aren't diagnosed even in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ways, right? Because you
Yeah.
said not everybody swears and not
Mm-mm.
everybody.
Only 11% swear. But then it's the look. Don't let my son see this. I can. He like they'll do jerking movements like that. And we don't know how it is, but it's related also to Parkinson's because they have those involuntary tics too. So you may not have anyone in your family who had Tourette's, but maybe Parkinson's. And interesting enough, if you have a brain or a trauma injury to your brain, that all the bad stuff comes out. You could be the most religious person, just all the bad stuff. They don't know why. It's just all the bad stuff comes out.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
With having someone who has Tourette's, you said you're doing a lot of education. Like, is there a bunch of programs to help you and understand that? Like, was it a struggle? Tell
Listen,
us a little
look,
bit about that.
listen. So again, I didn't have anyone who had this, and he was my only child, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. Like little Johnny, your brother, and he acting a little strange too. I didn't have anything to compare it to. Have anything one of my family to compare it to. And until he was diagnosed, I was like, oh, like is that a thing? 'Cause I didn't know. So I was like, really? Because you can't find anybody. Because a lot of times you shelter your child because of the behaviors that they do. And a lot of times you always have comorbid disorders. So you might have bipolar, you might have manic depressive, you might have schizophrenia, and they're trying to take medicine and try to fix this. Remember I said he started with 3 ticks? So he had so much medicine, he was like a zombie. At 12, I was like, no more medicine. He has
Good
never
for
taken, no.
you.
Because you know why? I didn't take discipline and religion out of my house. Because when the school called me, I'm like, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Because if I got to leave my good job, I'm going to come down there, put him in front of class, beat his butt, and I'm going back to class, going back to work. Well, you can't do that. No. Don't tell me what I can and can't do. Because I already told you what's going on. So don't call me. And sometimes they go, do we need to call your mother? You be like, I'm going to be good. Please don't call her.
So do you think that the school was correct in some of that stuff, or do you think it was really hit like just him being a kid, right? Because I mean, let's just face it, like kids are kids and they're learning through the process and they're pushing buttons and they're doing, they're being a kid.
Exactly. So when he was younger, like 3 and 4, it was, oh, he's just fidgety. Because, the little boy get up and he got to go around. Sit down, little boy. He's just, all around, touching Sally, like sit down. Didn't know. So when he was diagnosed, I was like, oh. And then you look back and go, oh, look, oh. Here's what's interesting. Again, he has swear words. So the children in the classroom, like they hear, but they don't. They're like, that's just Darius. And, a lot of times people go, oh, well, he can't come here because the other little kids, they're going to start swearing too. They don't. But when they go home, when their parents say, that's what they do. But you're not getting it from my child. So they kind of get used to it. And I always tell them, you'll be many things in life. Stupid's not an option. And everybody has something wrong with them. So you just go right on the class.
Doing what you do. Yeah.
But go back to your question about having to research. I did a lot of research in it because, again, I didn't know. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I was like, is that and I was a pre-med student. I was like, is that a diagnosis? I didn't know. But it's very fascinating. So when he started at 9 with the medicine, I was like, no, because he's a zombie now. And the teacher's like, he sleeps in class. Well, yeah, because he has on all this medicine. So at 12, I was like, you know what? No more medicine. We're done. And we haven't had medicine since.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, I mean, everything is solved with a pill nowadays, right? Everything's solved with like the temporary solution, let's just, mitigate it rather than solve it. And in some cases, you can't solve it, right? What pushed you to make that decision to obviously, you said you felt like he was a zombie. Was that just hard to see? Is that what really pushed you to pull him off of it?
It's very hard, And as a parent, even when your child, like they might fall or do something, you're just like, oh my goodness. And you worry about them all the time. But then you get this extra component. A lot of times you just like want to shelter. I'm like, nope, you're not going to shelter. Let's go. Let's do what we got to do. And you, as a parent, you don't want to be like, so then they go, oh, well, something's wrong with me. Because like you said, we put a label on somebody. So now in our mind, we have this label. I was like, oh, really? A lot of people say, oh, I have adult ADD. No, you don't. You need to do something that you're interested in. You're doing things that you're not interested in. We have this label, or society says this, so you just take it as truth. Okay, seriously? You just said, okay, that's it. Oh, okay. All right.
It's like programming.
It is.
Right? And it's like you see it all the time. You hear about it all the time. Then at some point you start to believe it and believe that you have it to some extent. We agree on that very, very heavily for sure. When you, single mom, single parent, you've got this son that's going through this, like how did you get through some of those times? I mean, they had to have been challenging, and not knowing about it and maybe not having, the answer today or a solution tomorrow. Like, how did you get through those times?
2 things. One, I was on the board for Tourette's syndrome. So being around other people who either had kids that had it, they understood. So that was like my safe haven. And remember I said daycares were like, oh, you can't bring them here. So one daycare was like, okay, we don't care. Bring them here. Like, really, we like him. Just bring him here. So that was very encouraging. The other thing is, you wait till you go to bed and you just cry your eyes out because you just like, people don't get it. Like they really don't get it.
Was there one person in your life that was there for you through these hard
Mm.
times that comes to mind?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Besides the, oh, bless their heart. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Because people, and they don't understand it. It's something new. So I just stay in my little bubble. Mhm.
With I'm just thinking it through. Like, I'm sure it was hard. I'm sure you had to have a lot of nights where you were emotional and
Mhm.
concerned as a parent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And you have to advocate for your kids too. And because he was swearing, things that we do, we get a promotion. We're like, oh my God, I like it. Well, that's stressful for them. Things that we think like, oh my God, this is so great. That's really stressful for them. And so, you have the classroom, 16, 20 kids. That might be a little stressful. So I had to fight for him to be in a self-contained classroom. And that was hard. And like 10 students, because little Johnny might have something going on with him, but everybody's not gonna go, look strange. And yes, my son probably gonna be like, "Why you tell that, mom?" Yes, my son rode the little small bus because the big bus with all the students. Because sometimes kids can be cruel, sometimes they can be nice, but that cruelness, I was like, we can't do that because I have adults acting like they lost their mind.
yeah, I can imagine that.
Mhm.
When it comes to being on the board and advocating and all that, tell me a little bit about that. Are you still involved in some of that stuff? What are you doing today? Fill us in on that.
So it kind of sounds bad because he is 35. So I will advocate for children. They have whether they have Tourette's, ADHD, whatever's going on, learning disability. But I've kind of gone away from being on the board. When I moved from Georgia, of course, I didn't stay on the board. But really having that safe haven was like, oh, this is great. This is great. Because other people have ticks. Some people, you're like, can you blow your nose? But that's their tick.
Yeah.
People grind their teeth. People might sitting here, they might get up and walk around. You're just like, you got to be still. And they're like, okay. And then they get up and start walking around. You're like, okay, I told you to be still. Yeah. Or they just, they'll do something, you know. It's interesting. It's a very fascinating disorder. In the beginning, it was like, I don't know. I'm like, I think I have. This is exactly what I said. I said, I think I have the devil's child. Like, I don't understand. Like, what is really going on? And I wasn't the only one because they have a conference, which is very interesting to see everyone in the room together. And people have said that too. I was like, oh, so I'm not the only one. So that was like my little world right there. That was my support. That's the only support I had was right there.
People who could understand it at the
Mm-hmm.
level that you are consuming it in
Mm-hmm.
consecutively and day after day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, we need people in our lives. We need that deep connection. We need, folks where we can just be honest and real and
Mm-hmm.
say we don't understand it or say we're trying to figure it
Yeah.
out, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
Um, who are those people in your life today? Fast forward to today.
Um. So now, interesting enough, so my friends that I had, so if you're my friend, you mess with me, you're stuck with me.
I
So,
like that strategy.
I still have friends from first grade. And so again, I was in my little circle and people like, you want to go? Mm-mm. You want to? Mm-mm. So then when I finally, because you have to tell people, well, you don't have to, but you tell people and you're just like, it's that shame. And they're like, okay. And you're like, oh, really? Because you're not going to judge me? Because in our mind, we think we're going to get judged, we're ashamed. I'm a single parent. Like all the things start to, because that's what society says. And they're like, okay, all right, we still love you. I'm like, oh, really? So, really? So now fast forward, so it does wax and wane. And a lot of times I had to go, listen, 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 because I can catch some of them now, but it's not as prevalent as before. The other one, they would come in. Like now he can be saying a sentence and it'll come out. People like don't catch it. but sometimes I would catch it because he does have another phrase that I don't want to say what the phrase is. So like those phrases, and I'm like, listen, and they're like, okay, Paris. I'm like, but listen, listen. And then they go, I think I have it too. I cannot. Then you got it all right. Like, oh yeah.
uh, before we were before we jumped on the podcast today, I was asking you about your dreams and what did you want to do in the world and what you were working towards.
Yeah.
Um, share with the audience what you said to me and why you chose those words when I asked you.
I said, today Tennessee, tomorrow the world. And he's like, well, how are you going to do that? I'm like, hey, you got to be out there. You got to do it. If I can make your day better than when you met me, my job is done. My job is done. You know how you have people you meet, you're like, oh my God, yeah, I got to go. You know, with me, people like, where you going? Going shopping? Can I go with you? I'm like, okay, like you just follow me around. Like, and I'm that high energy person anyway. I don't really realize that I'm a high energy because people go, I like you. I'm like, you saw me across the room. I gotta hang out with you. And a lot of times I tell people, wait, we can't be friends. Hold up. Because again, you mess with me, you stuck with me, and I'm very intentional who I bring into my life. So no, we can't be friends.
Where do you think that comes from? That energy, that instant rapport? Like, did you learn that? Do you think you are just acquired that? Is that just naturally who you are?
It might be some of naturally who I am, but it's also maybe I acquired it because I'm thinking back to when I was I was the only child. Well, let me rephrase that. I was the only child until I was 35 when I got siblings. But back then, I remember my mom saying, why do you go in your room and close your door? I'm like, oh, I just go in my room and I'm by myself. Because as the only child, you don't have anybody to play with, to talk to. You have cousins at all. Not all of them, but most of them were male cousins. And I'm like, hey, let's go play basketball. Girls can't do that. Can I go? No, you can't do that. I'm like, I don't want to like go outside and play with worms, but you know.
So growing up, you were by yourself, but you just had that high energy to make friends, to spend time with friends.
Yeah, it's a lot of times people ask me that. I can't figure it out because I'm the person. A lot of times people go, oh, I don't want to speak because I'm, nervous. I'm like, please, girl. Remember I told you, I said, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I can go off the cuff. I'm the person that goes to a conference. Our speaker didn't show up. You want me to speak? What you need me to speak on? And I've just always been that way. I am former military. I didn't get this in the military, but people think I have. When I walk in the room, I command the room, period. Like, okay, I'm here. We can get started now. That's just how I am. And a lot of times people go, oh, you're so confident, you're so this. Maybe I am, but it's just me. And I'm interject like this from the time I get up to the time I go to bed.
It's natural for you.
Yeah.
It's in your heart. It's in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Even when you came in today, I was like, all right, this is going to be good. I mean, I said it on the opening of the podcast. I was like, we got some good energy in here today, Do you think that growing up, the experiences you've had, obviously with your son, do you think that is something that kind of put you in this position to kind of bring joy, bring happiness, bring good energy? Because I mean, what else would you have done in those situations?
Exactly. Yes. A lot of times people, again, when we talk about society, they kind of defined us. And we look at people, of course, we admire people. Sometimes I want to be like this person, but be yourself. It's 8 billion people in the world. That's taken. Just be yourself. And I tell people, don't blow smoke up my butt, and I won't blow any up yours. What you see is what you get. I don't have any hidden agendas. I ain't got time for all that nonsense. I don't do stress, drama, or nonsense, period. And people know, because I will call you on some stuff.
I don't do stress, drama, or
nonsense.
nonsense.
I do not. My friend, it's funny because I'm in 2 sororities, a business sorority and another D9 sorority. And they're like, are you coming to the meeting? I was like, I might be traveling. You need to come. Why? Because it's so much fun when you come. I'm like, you know what?
Why do you think they say that?
Because I would call you on some, I'm telling you, I would call. Like, wait a minute. in. I'm the child that sits in the back of the room, so I just watch people. And I guess because I was the only child, being alone, I just sit there and watch. My PhD is in advanced studies in human behavior. I love to just sit and watch people. Like, within 15 minutes, I can tell you anything I need to know
Advanced studies of
in human behavior.
Tell me
Psychology.
more about that. Like what?
Psychology.
Like yeah. Tell me more about that. Like why did you get into that? What's some things you can share with the audience that you've learned?
Okay, so if you go back probably 10 minutes, I said I was a pre-med student. I actually was going to school to be a doctor, OBGYN. And I saw a procedure, which was a biopsy of the uterus. I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think that, this ain't gonna work. And I was pre-med psych. And all my teachers go, you gonna be a psychiatrist? No, I'm not. I got my own problems. I ain't trying to hear nobody else's. So they kind of reverse that now, because I ended up having a degree in psychology and a minor in biology. And again, I'm that child that sits in the back of the room. I just kind of watch people. I'm gonna take it back a little further. Remember I said my son has OCD?
Mm-hmm.
Well, his doctor said I had OCD. I'm like, really? Because I was in his office organizing his bookcase. He said, it's not normal to go to other people's homes or offices and organize your stuff. I was like, my friends like when I come over. I'm like, what's the problem? He said, you have obsessive compulsive disorder. So again, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm the reason why my child's like this. Oh my goodness. Because he has the OCD as well. And I was like, it's me. So I started doing deeper dive into OCD. Because again, now I'm labeled. And I discovered the National Association of Professional Organizers. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm not weird because there's other people like that? Wait a minute. They get paid to do this? Oh, yeah. So 23 years ago, I started my organizing business. And all my friends that I would organize for free are still today my paying clients. Yeah. And so we talk about the advanced studies. So I work with clutter. I see clutter. I'm like, ooh, let me in. I love it. Because I was that little child that would, clean their room up, make my bed, organize the spices. That's just what I did. And people were like, remember I said little Johnny, that's what I did. People were like, that's just Paris. I went to college, made our beds, and that's just Paris. That's just Paris. Went to the military, and they were like, really? So they would just mess my stuff up. The drill sergeant would come in, and stuff be flying across the room. I'm like, I'm just going to put it back together. Like, because we had to roll everything. I still today roll my underwear, and I roll my socks individual. So when they're in the drawer, they're like little soldiers. I know, I'm no stranger. Okay. But see, nothing wrong with me. It's everybody else. So I like that, but it's not the clutter that's a problem. It's something else. And again, I want to get to what that something else is. I'm like, this is really fascinating. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it's fun. I love it.
It's really cool that you can take something that someone sticks a label on you and lean into it, admire it, be proud of it, and then monetize it.
Yeah. I was like, I just turned into a business. And interesting enough, remember my son was taking all these meds. So normal people like right here. So some people are up here and they need to come here. Then there are people down here who need to come up here. So I started taking meds too. I mean, my son's taking everything. Why wouldn't I? I don't even like taking an aspirin. So I was up here on the meds. I was here. I said, oh, no, I cannot. I like being up here. I can't. No, I don't like being down there. So I'm doing meds.
So what did you just say? No, I'm not doing this.
No, I did. I was like, no,
I
this ain't gonna work out.
enjoy the label you've given me.
Hey, I love
I
it.
don't agree with the label because it's my superpower.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna do me.
Yeah, exactly. You do you, I'm gonna do me. And we'll be a happy family.
Where do you think that comes from though? Because not many people are like you, Paris.
I know.
Where and I don't mean that from an OCD standpoint.
I
mean it from like you stick a label on me. Some people may position it wrong. I'm broken. There's something, off. And you're like, oh, I don't look at like that at all.
Yeah.
I actually want to lean into it. Where does that come from? Like,
probably from my mother. My mother used to tell me, and I went all the way to the top. So I have 5 college degrees. Book smart, right? My mom told me
5 degrees.
I have 5. Yes.
In what?
Fashion. Oh, so my first degree is in fashion design. Then I have psychology and a minor in biology. I have a master's in human research management, an MBA, and my PhD is in advanced studies in human behavior. So when I went to the top, I like school. I'm weird like that. Yeah. But my mom used to tell me there's no such thing as can't. No. Don't even put that in your vocabulary. So I was looking through the dictionary. True story. I am not joking. I'm looking through the dictionary. And I was like, whoa. Hold up. I think we got the wrong. We need to call Weber to call somebody. Because no. And if you knew my mom, you know. She's like, this stuff, no.
Do you, I love that story. Do you bring that forward to your son's life and anybody else that you spend time
Absolutely.
with and impact?
Absolutely. As any of my friends, they were like, yeah, that's Paris. Yep. Yeah.
My 3-year-old, and she didn't get it from me or my wife, but my 3-year-old recently kept saying try, like I'm trying to do this, I'm trying, and I'm like, where's that coming from, right? Because like trying in my book is a failing word. And I had to really lean in and figure out, okay, like where actually is it being derived from? And it was on like a show, like a kid's TV show, and they're like, well, I'm gonna try to do this and try to do. It's like, we gotta cut that out. Like, I don't want that programming, you know?
Have you watched, when you were younger, you watched cartoons, right? Watch those same ones today. You're like, oh my goodness, that time and shit. Like, cartoons are not for kids. None of them.
We had to like Spider-Man cartoon, Spidey and Friends. What we realized was like she was getting aggressive. And like we went back and watched the old ones, and it's just like it's Spider-Man, and yeah, he's still fighting the goblin or whatever and all that, but like it's intense, and it's like the screen and the movements and the colors, it was making her like hyperactive. And then when you take it away, she had like a meltdown.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember being a kid, and like you turn off the TV and it's like, oh, you know, I remember crying, but like this was a side we haven't seen before. We're like, no, we're done with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So adults would tell me, you know, Paris, I tried to get organized. I said, oh, come here. So, and you could put a pen down, right? Put something down. And I go, take your hands away. Try to pick it up, but don't pick it up. Like, just try to pick it up. Try to pick it up. And they're like, what? And I said, go ahead, like, Lori, pick it up. I said, you see the difference when you try and actually do it. I can go on all day like this.
I was gonna say, I like that. I've never heard it like that before.
That's why my clients like me. Yeah. I
Change-
travel all over the world too. And they're like, don't you have an organizer here? We do, but I like Paris. I told you, you messed with me, you stuck with me.
It comes into business too.
Listen. Look, listen.
That's so funny. We talked about your son. We talked about some times in the past. We talked about more currently some of the things you believe in. What else do you want to leave the audience with today as we kind of land the plane and wrap up? Is there anything on your mind, anything on your heart, anything you want to share, or a moment of time that has really impacted you that you want to get out into the world?
Just be you. Everybody else is taken. And these labels that...
Ooh, just be you. Everybody else
like
is
that.
taken.
Like that.
Okay.
Hashtag. I told you we have fun. Look, what was I going to say? I forgot.
What do you want to share with the world?
I don't know, I forgot.
Just
That
be
was
you.
one.
Everybody
Yeah.
else is
Oh,
taken.
So the labels that society put on you, really? And the labels that we tell ourselves. I used to tell people, stop talking dirty to yourself. I can't do that. I'm not smart. I'm not, like, really? Stop. Like, if you say, I'm not smart, how about God is not smart? You're like, ooh, that ain't true. Okay, so why do you say it? Because anything you say after I am is going to chase you down and hunt you. Our words are powerful. What we think about, we bring about. What we focus on expands, period.
What we think about, we bring about. What we focus on expands.
Yeah.
You're full of these nuggets. I'm like, I gotta put that one right here in the back of the brain.
You want an example?
Write it down.
Oh,
give me some
so
examples.
two
Yeah.
things. When you talk to me, you might want to have pen and paper and never eat or drink when I with my mom, don't eat or drink. You're gonna spit it out. If you get choked, I'm not that type of doctor, so I told you I do this all day. Woo, look, boop, boop, boop. I'll be here all day. Make sure you tip your waiter. So here's an example. Most people said, I want to lose weight. We all know how to lose weight. Eat right, exercise, all the things. I want to lose X pounds. We walk by the mirror and go, wait a minute. Where did that come from? So then you start to focus on that. Then you don't eat right. Or just this one time I want to have, this donut. Just this one time. You said that 50 million times. Oh, wait, maybe that's just me. But we don't eat right. I'm going to exercise later. I'm tired. One day, someday. Really? But you said you wanted to lose weight. But we focus on the thing that we don't want. So we get more of it.
Because you're focusing on the weight, not losing the weight.
Mm-hmm.
You're focusing on not eating the food rather than eating good food.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm here for.
Dr. Paris Love in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
You got. I want to pull some more out of you. We're not wrapping this thing up quite yet.
Which one?
What else is on your mind? What else is on your heart?
Let's see. Oh, I get this a lot. Because a lot of times again, it's not about the clutter. So people go, I can't tell anybody else this but you. I don't want to know. Okay, what is it? But a lot of times, especially as women, you do everything for everybody else. Can you? And you're like, I don't want to do that. But you keep doing everything for everybody else. Everyone has probably been on the airplane. What did they say? Put your mask on first before you help somebody else. So what do we do? Let me help you, little Johnny. Oh, you need help. So you go down there. You all the way down the aisle. So by the time you come back to get your oxygen, you don't fell out. And everybody that you help, you know what they're going to do? Oh, bless her heart. Like, really? I have a client. She's a little girl. And I tell my clients, if I am in town, because I was a single parent, if you need me to watch your child, I would do that. Because I know how it felt when I was there. And I have a client. So she has one daughter. Her sister has like 3 or 4 kids. She's always watching her sister kids. Always, always. So she asked her sister one time, hey, can you watch her? She said, I'm busy that day. Really? I said, well, good. Then you get busy. You say no. Because no is a complete sentence. No. You can even have fun like, oh my God, really? That is so nice. No.
No is a complete sentence.
And no is next opportunity. Because if I say yes to this, the thing that I'm saying no to, this is the thing that I want. Right? And again, as women, we're like, but I got to help everybody. Who's going to help you? Because if you're the root here, when something happens, all these people, they're going to be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Why? Because you have somebody help you. And you over here sick. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
In our mind, it doesn't. But something like trigger. We were all taught, yes, say please and thank you. Yes, ma'am, no. Like all the things, right? Right from wrong. But somehow we get lost in the sauce over here. We know what to do, but we don't do it.
People pleasing.
Yeah.
Rather than pleasing ourselves.
Oh, please. I ain't get, I'm about to get really excited. I ain't pleasing. No, really? Okay. Mm-hmm. I tell you when we get out there.
When it comes to some of those scenarios, obviously you can say no, but do you think it's people aren't comfortable with how they position it, or they feel like they have to give 20 reasons and have a full 6 paragraphs of explanation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Usually I tell people, I told you I was an organizer, right? So when we finish, can you go to my house and help me do my garage? You want to say yes, don't you?
I'm not an organizer. No.
I know, but you're like, maybe. I'm like, do you have $1 million? If I had, I'd give it to you. I want you to say no. Just say no. It's hard. Again, it's that you're going to judge me. The shame of saying, like, I really don't want to do that. But we already know that person, why you can't do it? Why you asking? Like, leave me alone. So we just go, okay, I just say yes. And we over here sick. I got a headache. I don't feel good. Because you keep saying yes to things that you need to say no to.
Or people that you don't really want to help, right? Because I think there's people that you're like, you know what? I do want to help that person, but that doesn't mean you have to help that person and that person and that other person and that person.
Yeah.
Like you get to decide where you want to put your energy, where you want to put your time, where you want to put your impact, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
How long did it take you to figure that out?
I've always been that way. I promise you.
Paris Love, she's
Call
unique.
my mom. She'll tell you. My parents, they'll tell you. I was like, okay. How this going to work out for you? Even in the military, they used to call me smart. The other word. They did, because the drill sergeant like, I don't know who this is, but I guess it was a basketball player named Butterbean Love or something. So they're like, come in, Butterbean Love. I'm like, you don't see me doing something? So you want me to get up from here and come over there to you? Yeah, let's see how that's going to work out. Now, if he started walking to him, I'm like, I said I was coming. I just take my time. Yeah. And I would gut punch you. Someone said, did you just gut punch me? And did. They were like, you were so nice about it. I was like, I know.
Well, you can be fierce and nice at the same time.
Yeah.
Dr. Paris Love, thanks for being on the Impact Effect podcast.